What is going on, masters and princesses? It is 2025, and today at Liquidroom Ebisu in roughly the Shibuya area, the Band-Maids kicked off the new year with a pretty insane show, quite a doozy. And I will say right off the bat, just because Saiki and Miku have asked that this be a secret, that if you are attending the show in a couple of weeks at the same location, which I am, but due to the fact that I am sharing this with you, the secret's been ruined for me. But for those of you who plan on attending and don't know the set list yet, I would encourage you guys to go in blind. A bit like the Sixth Sense.
I see dead people.
Just in case you guys don't know what it is that I'm talking about, it's been 30 years, 20 some odd years. But I hate to be the messenger of spoilers. I'll just tell you now, if you are attending and you want to go in blind, just don't watch this video, or at least up to here, and give us a like anyway.
Yo, Adrian!
But for those of you who are not attending the show and it doesn't matter, and you're fine with just hearing anything and everything about the show, well, let's continue on. So February 3rd, 2025, the very first okyu-ji of the year, the Maids really decided to do something special. If you guys do recall, there were a couple of previous spin-offs last year. The first one was produced by Misa and Akane, and then the other was done by Miku and Kanami. And judging by the graphics shown here, you should know, or maybe not, that it has been produced by Saiki. I'm assuming this graphic will be used again just for the next show as well, because it is also produced by Saiki. And if judging by the tweets that were put out, it's most likely that this set list will not change. And if it does, which the Maids, I mean, I really can't remember a show where it was like word for word, back to back, exactly the same, except I think when they hit the States. But in Japan, they've always changed up, if only just one or two songs. If you take a look, it is definitely Saiki, because she is carrying a baseball bat that is yellow and black. It represents the Hanshin Tigers, whom she loves with all her life. Sometimes it seems like more than the Maids, although I'm sure we know that's not true. Anyhow, let's get straight into it. This is a set list. This is where it gets pretty nuts. It's sort of a fever dream. In no way do I want to downplay any newer Band-Maid fans, but for those of us who have been around for at least half a decade, or more, you kind of know just how exciting and thrilling it is to see the set list. And it's probably the biggest mishmash. I don't know. It's just, it's definitely a motley. It's definitely a motley. They opened up with Puzzle, always a crowd pleaser, Toi et moi, which I'm curious. Live, I'm sure it gets a wild response as well. Crawlium, which I've always loved live, especially when Akane goes nuts during the chorus. Then you have Why, which is a song that I can't imagine anybody dislikes. It's probably got to be at least top 20 for the majority of fans, no? Then you have Zen, the live debut of the song Zen, a song that I really came to enjoy a lot. It really grabs you. I think there's a simplicity, the hooks that it has is just, they're just so strong. So I'm excited to hear that. Letters to You, followed by The One. I think for me personally, two of the songs I enjoyed a lot off of Epic Narratives. Then you start going old school. With the ballads, you have Anemone, Daydreaming, and Page. And then Awkward. That's pretty wild. That's those 4 songs together, back to back to back to back, that's pretty wild. And you think, whoa, it's definitely nostalgic. It definitely will move you. It'll be tough not to just like choke up a bit. And then it gets a little bit nuts. This is something that I had wanted, not the song that I had wanted particularly, but that I would have loved to have seen. I think a lot of us had. But you actually had Band-Maid doing Peace and Love and Flapping Wings, which are Clupo songs. And that's really cool. It says here that it was a Miku solo, so I'm not sure if she sang it just by herself with guitar or what that was. It's very possible that's all that it was. But I don't know, to imagine any Clupo song being played with the full Maids, you know, the full core, that's pretty wild to even imagine. For me, of course, I would have loved to have heard Voice, which I think is an incredible song, one of the best Miku Clupo Kobato songs she's ever sung. Then Time. It's such an interesting set list. Then you have 3 instrumentals back to back to back. You have From Now On, Without Holding Back, and Get to the Top. Get to the Top being the newest one off of Epic Narratives. From Now On is definitely a classic. And I don't know, man. It's such an interesting, again, it's an interesting motley. It's a mishmash. I don't know how else to describe it. It definitely feels like it's like way left field. And then this is where it gets really interesting, is there's this medley, and it's listed as all songs being partial to what? No, how much of it was sung, which parts exactly? Was it all the beginning? Was it like going to the chorus of another chorus? But it goes from Real Existence to Afterlife to Alone to Freedom, which it's been a minute. And then you have I Can't Live Without You, followed by one of my all-time favorites, Nonfiction Days, then You, to Dice, to Manners. And I am so curious as to how they blended that particular set. But it's pretty wild. I mean, you know, just when you thought the Maids were pretty set on just looking forward and going full on into the future, they start dipping back and they're like, no, we haven't forgotten. We remember, we know that you remember, and we're here to show our gratitude. And it's pretty cool. I don't know what Saiki was drinking that day when she decided the set list. It might have been the holidays, but it's pretty cool. And then the last spurt, which is what they call it. Again, one of my all-time favorites, Secret My Lips, Hate, Shambles, No God to Forbidden Tale. So that is a pretty insane set list. Granted, you know, you have, 9 songs as a medley, but you have 31 songs. On average, you would get maybe 23. That's always kind of roughly been where it's at. But yeah, I mean, God, that must have been pretty exciting, like tonight, to have been there and just to have been listening and just thought, what the hell is happening? And I'm not gonna lie, you know, in 2023, I attended probably a good 20 Band-Maid shows, but there starts to be a certain rhythm that you get used to. And I will say that this particular set list, looking at it, I can't even imagine, like, people must have just been like, like losing their minds. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty exciting. It's legit really exciting to see the set list. The nostalgia factor, the amazing songs factor, the I never could have thought, or never did I dream that this would happen factor. There's so many factors involved. So the venue itself, The capacity is 900. It's definitely like bordering, you know, that mid-size. Generally they'll play like 12 to 1500 capacities when they're going more towards the larger size. So yeah, I will be attending in a couple weeks. I'm pretty excited, and I hope that me knowing the set list won't take away from that. And for those of you who have decided to watch this whole thing, even though you are attending as well, but man, if you had just gone in blind and just just heard this thing like from front to back, it's been wild. Here's some of the merch that was dropped today, and the special one was this pretty huge banner. It says Bangai-hen, which is basically Spinoff. Pretty much what it's saying, like an extra edition. So yeah, some lucky winner won that, and I hope the maids know that we as fans definitely love the banners, the lanterns, the sort of like those things that will flap in the wind and really soar high. I think we like that kind of stuff. And again, it is just the start of the year, so I'm excited. There's so much more coming up. You know, you've got all these shows lined up in Japan, and based upon the Maids talk off of their end of the year and beginning of the year videos, if you have seen that on Band-Maid Prime or the Omeishu's movies, there are definitely strong hints towards them going overseas to the States and elsewhere. So, you know, keep your fingers crossed. For myself, I have other shows lined up that are not Band-Maid, but bands that I love and that I've been supporting. You know, whether it be bands like Hades, one of the newer ones, Undying Words, Sally, who used to play with Mayu from Nemophila in Lipstick. She has her own thing going now also, solo stuff. So there's a lot of different things going on, which I'm excited about as well. For those of you who wish to continue diving deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole that is Japanese music, please watch our other videos. Please stay tuned for those things and turn on your notifications. But for those who want just Band-Maid, this year we'll be getting a bit more than last year, so please stay tuned for that, and we will try to update you as much as we can. And I'm sure SJ is working hard on his guitar chops so that he can have a 1-hour video of him just going off on his Konami signature model. I gave my love a cherry. Right? Yes. All right, guys. This has been Peter from MNN. I hope you guys are well. Hope you stay healthy. And it's kind of tough these days, but take care of yourselves and take care of each other as well. So thanks so much, Masters and Princesses. I will see you again. I am out. Peace. I gave my love a chicken that had